I don't normally talk about myself.
You'll be fine. It's just me. Like we're talking on the run.
Yeah, like we're having like this conversation around the park.
That's all.
Tethered together.
Tethered together. I think it'll come.
Welcome to the Just a Runners podcast. We're here to talk about all things running and racing on the Youngstown area's first running podcast. Here's your host and Youngstown Marathon Ambassador, Bruce McIntosh and Pico.
Hey everybody, how's it going this week? Hey, Pico's with me today. You got anything to add? Oh, okay. Come on, speak up. No? Alright, well, this week, hopefully y'all having a good week. Hopefully it's going better than mine. The health front, if you don't follow me on social media, maybe you don't know, I got my diagnosis because I've been having trouble for a while. Irregular heart rate, it spikes up and things like that. And found out on Tuesday for sure that I had AFib, atrial fibrillation, they call it, and there are some possible solutions to it. I went and met with the cardiologist, and he's referring me to an electrocardiologist, so that's the next step here. I'm supposed to be on a couple medicines. One's blood thinner. I'm still waiting to get on the second one, and still waiting for an appointment for the electrocardiologist to see how things go. But we're basically being held up for this by the insurance company, so maybe I won't go into my opinion on the insurance companies right now. That's a whole nother podcast. But that's where I am. So right now, most of when I'm going out and trying to get some sort of exercise in, I'm doing a lot of walking. And when I do go out to run, it's just keeping it real easy. It's a run walk, just trying to keep the heart rate under control. And some days are better than others. Some days I don't have a lot. Some days it'll just constant having my heart spike up. And there were one of those days here today. I'm recording this Sunday, August 9th. Hopefully I have it out later today. That's the plan, at least. So that was where we're at on that. So hopefully I'll get some things taken care of in the next week, or at least get the appointment and get that medicine. What do you want, Pico? Anything to add to this? You like going for those walks, don't you? I've been doing try to get him out once or twice a day, go for a nice little walk. That way, he can help me get my Race Across Tennessee, the virtual Race Across Tennessee 100K. It's actually 125. It's 635 miles I gotta get to. Still trailing a little bit on that. I forget the exact total, but I need about 6 miles per day the rest of the month to average. And okay, I got the door, friend. Go ahead. You going out? In or out, buddy? No, guess you don't want out. All right, where was I? Tennessee. So if I can keep that average up, and I usually try to do, I'm a little short during the week, and then on the weekends I try to get some extra. This was a little bit of a lower weekend than normal, but yeah, we'll see. Hopefully the week isn't too bad as far as getting my miles in. And I kind of wanted to do a cutback week this week just for my own health and not push too much. And I'm trying to bump up, get another good long run in next weekend. And I do not want to forget to mention this. We are having our 100th episode party 2-year anniversary at Paladin Brewery in Austintown. It's on Mahoney Avenue. That's going to be on Friday, August 21st, 6 p.m. Supposed to be the start time. I'm going to try to do a live recording of this. Hopefully we get something we can put out to use for our 100th podcast. That's the plan. I'm going to try to get, hopefully it'll be good enough to turn on it here, and if it's not, oh well. And I do have my Just a Runner's podcast stickers to give out. I should have more than enough of those. And I also have some cowbells with our stickers on them, and they're orange. Oh, some people are going to hate me for that. Got some of those to give away. I think I got 8 or 10 to give away. Got to keep a couple for myself. They're really beautiful looking with the stickers on them, and they're orange. I got sure Don will love that. Just the colors that they are. And well, hope to see everybody there. It'd be nice to have a nice I realize with the pandemic some people are hesitant to go out, but if you have to, just wear a mask most of the time, and we're going to try to have it outside, so there should be no problem keeping some social distancing. Okay, and as far as races, for me and the Youngstown area, there aren't too many right now. I haven't heard any update on the Peace Race 10K and 2-miler. I don't know if that's, as of now, they haven't canceled, but the Youngstown Marathon this past week did announce they were canceling. I believe there's going to be a virtual option. I don't have any details on that yet. So maybe next week I'll be able to let you, if they get out. And I do have one live event still going on. It's already been closed off. I'm sorry. The Centennial 5K over in Canton, part of the, being put on by the Hall of Fame. Same people putting on the Hall of Fame Marathon. So I know me, Don, and Greg plan to go, and it looks like a fun event, and we were all pretty much sold by a shirt. Not the first time. There is another live event coming up August 23rd. I believe they still you could still get signed up for this. You got to sign up ahead of time and pick which wave you want to go out. The Heat Wave 5K, it's going to be at the Canfield Fairgrounds on August 23rd. If you go to secondsoultiming.com, you can get signed up there. All right, and this week got another great interview. It's with Barb Konsinski. Took a little bit of doing to convince her to be on. I knew I had to get this interview in when I had the chance, and she was willing, but I think it was worth it. We decided to meet at Howland Park, and we were going to record and walk. Unfortunately, the weather wasn't perfect for that. It started to rain, and well, you know, when you're with somebody as sweet as Barb, you got to worry about her melting in the rain. So we got into a pavilion shortly after it started raining, and the wind picked up some, so there is some distortion from the wind, but I don't think it ruined anything. It'll sound like you're outside talking to her, basically, which is what was going on. We were walking, talking, then we sat in this pavilion talking to each other, and it was a really great conversation. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, I'll get that here in 1 minute. Come out, but I tried this one other time. If you heard I don't think you probably didn't get it. Just find out. But I interviewed Joe.
I was listening to it today while I was walking.
Okay. We were walking, so you can see how it sounded, but I only did it with my phone, and I just kind of like walked around holding my phone like that.
Oh.
So I said, I'll bring these out.
Oh, yeah.
And we can just walk tethered together. I didn't know if you'd want to meet in person or not, because with the COVID and stuff, some people are really freaked out about it.
You know what my thing is if it's just like 1 or 2 people, which normally I'm good one-on-one.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't really do much. Like my one friends and I went out I met her at Up a Creek because she had some stuff for me. So she was like, I thought we were just going out for ice cream because I thought, oh, we could just sit at the picnic table. Ice cream.
Ice cream.
And she's like, let's go eat. And I'm like, dude, I take a shower. Like, I don't put on makeup. I don't do my hair. And she's like, let's go to the chop house. I'm like, no, you're not taping this part, are you?
Yeah, I already said.
No, you're not. Are you serious?
Don't worry about it. I can edit it out. I won't, but I could. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, so we go to Up a Creek and I was like, oh, I didn't feel comfortable, so I probably won't eat out again. We do like takeout, but I'm not comfortable sitting around a lot of people.
We've done a few.
Yeah.
And when the group goes on Wednesdays, I've been going.
Yeah.
Depends where I'm at. Certain places I feel fine, other places freak me out.
Yeah, it's hard for me because I get nervous with my asthma being around some people because I know some people aren't really distancing at all. But then I have, I do all my parents' grocery shopping.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I don't feel guilty going to my parents to drop off stuff for them. So I just kind of, I don't know, I guess been isolating. But come out. If I'm outside, if I'm out in the open, I feel okay.
That's all right. If we're outside, I wouldn't want to be too crowded. There's certain things going on I think I'm okay with.
Yeah.
But, I'm not sure I'm not a big fan of the mask. I'd rather just, I'm more of let's just keep the social distance. If you're sick, you shouldn't be out anyway, so.
Yeah, if you're, I'm okay wearing it if I go in a store or something, when I go grocery shopping. I don't have any problem wearing it places.
I'm wearing it when I go places because you have to now, but.
Yeah. I'm, for the most part, okay following rules. Especially if it's, safety
I always
driven.
pictured you as the rebel.
It just depends.
Oh, it's a safety issue. Okay.
Yeah, it just depends what the topic is, I guess. But for the most part, I usually stay inside the lines.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Have you been running any? Or are you just doing all this walking?
No, it's been, I've had a really hard time breathing. So I'm dealing with respiratory issues. So I've been doing all my miles that I did for that Tennessee thing.
Yeah.
It's all walking miles.
Did you finish? When did you finish? You've been done. Well, you're not actually done because the race never ends. But
yeah. So I finished, I think it ended up being 74 days, but I kind of didn't have a clear goal when I started. So I was kind of putzing around thinking,
are you going?
Oh, so you only need 5 miles a day, so maybe I'll do 5 miles a day. Then a couple days I didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's where I got tripped up too.
Yeah, because then you're like, well, it's such a long span of time. It's not going to make, it's not going to make a huge difference in my miles. Maybe it'll add a tenth or a quarter of a mile here and there. Not a big deal.
Catches you.
Yeah, it kind of bites you in the ass after a while. So I think I finished in 74 was the total days, but I had, I decided that I wanted to finish on my friend's birthday, and she passed away from ALS a few years ago. So I kind of took that as my inspiration, and I'm friends with her sisters, live in Florida. So I told him, I said, hey, I'm going to do this race. So the medal I'm going to give to her one sister, and then I decided to do the 1,000 miles.
Yeah,
I thought that would be pretty cool. So the 1,000-mile pin I'll give to the other sister, so they'll get my my medals from the race, which was cool. And then I got them shirts, so they wore their shirts. So it was fun.
I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I'm projected finished across Tennessee on September 6th. So
No, we'll get you there.
so
I'm telling you what really helped me, I've been
trying to keep up a certain amount doing. I know what I need for the whole week. So during the week, I know with work and everything, I'm not going to get as many miles in.
Yeah.
But it's when I take those, either a day I only go out for a little walk and get a mile in, or a 0. Those days will hurt me. And now I'm trying to get, no, I need like 42 a week or just under that. But this past weekend really
you did
boosted me
good
up.
miles.
It wasn't that long ago. My projected finish was September 14th or 15th.
Oh, well then you jumped up a good, at least a week, huh? A little over a week.
Yeah, so I got to keep it up.
Jump. And that's the thing too, if you just do a little bit extra, even if you did like a quarter mile, half a mile extra a day, it all adds up in time.
Well, most days I'm getting up and going for a half-mile walk with the dog before I go to work, which I wasn't doing before. I started doing that. So I'm getting more walking miles in than I was before.
Yeah, and little Pico probably loves it.
Yeah, he likes it.
Yeah, so it's cool. So I ended up, because I was doing pretty decent miles every day once I figured out what my goal was. So there were some days where I would walk 3 times. So I'd do like maybe 2 miles before work, and then 4 or 5 at lunch, and then 7 to 9 after work. But it's not as hard on your body. You know, you're still,
when you're splitting it up.
Yeah, and I'm walking, so it's way easier on your joints. So it's not like, some days were hard, but
most of my runs right now are run walks, so it's not quite as bad as if I was just trying to kill myself. Or because I ended up with Saturday. Did I go out again? I think we did 13 and a half on our run. I'm trying to remember if I did another half or not. And then on Sunday we went out and I ended up with 6 and a half. And and it was a run walk the whole way. And then later on, I ended up taking the dog for another walk. And got over another mile in. So
it all counts.
So if I can get 20 something on the weekends, I'm gonna I know I can do 20 Monday through Friday, and that'll get me there.
That's about what I was doing. I ended up doing like 15-ish Saturday and Sunday, and then I wouldn't need as much during the week.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to hit 20 some during the week and 20 on the weekends. And I think I can do that, especially if I keep it easy, keep it walking.
Yeah, it makes it manageable too once you have your goal in mind. If you sit down, you calculate the stuff out, then it's not as bad. It's not as intimidating when you think, oh, I have 130 more miles or something like that, because when you think of it cumulatively, it's like, that's a lot of miles.
Yeah, when I looked, and I'm like, I need 190. Well, actually, it's like 191.9 to get through in August to hit the goal of 635 miles. And I'm like, that's a lot of miles. But like I said, but then I looked, I said, there's 5 Saturday and Sundays. And I got a few extra days off. Hopefully nothing interferes with that. And hopefully I can get a few extra miles that way with those extra weekends and stuff. I think that might work to my advantage.
Yeah, just taking in little small doses. Now I'm to the point where it's like, I just want to be done now, because I'm so tired of knowing I have to walk every day. I was like, I just want to be back to doing stuff.
Walk if you feel like it, or
and I can jump on my bike, because I haven't ridden my bike since this started, because my days have been so consumed with walking.
Because you gotta get out and get the walk. I'm kind of in the same thing, because if I have any extra time to work out, I want to be running or going out for a walk or something, because we got a rowing machine, and I haven't been doing it. And I was only doing it like, a little bit here and there. And it's like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to go outside and go for a walk.
Yeah.
Pick up an extra half mile or a mile in the same amount of time I would be on the rowing machine. Yeah, last year you were running really good, though.
You know what?
Compared to me.
Thanks. But no, I don't know. Ever since I blew out my ankle, running has been increasingly difficult for me. So that's how I kind of got into doing multi-sport. But
well, I know. Was it last year we finished that 10 miler together?
yeah.
Because I remember that rainy, miserable day.
Yeah.
And I'm having all of a sudden, I got like 5 miles in and it just went downhill fast. I ran into you and we finished together. And that was kind of made it a little more bearable.
A little less miserable.
But that was like a torrential.
Yeah, it was.
You know what? I looked at the radar.
Rain.
Those I can't see because we're audio. I looked at the radar and it looked like we were going to have a gap, so we wouldn't get that wet. The clouds. I looked at the.
You mean right now?
Yeah. Oh, before on my way here, right before I saw you.
Yeah.
I'm looking. I said, "Oh, we're going to have this gap. We're going to be okay."
The radar showed when I looked at it, it wasn't supposed to rain until like 7 o'clock and only 40%.
Yeah, I thought we'd have at least half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm okay. I think we're all right.
Yeah.
Plus, one of my favorite runs ever was with you.
Oh, thanks.
The popsicle run.
I don't know if you can really call anything that I do running though.
Well,
it's more like
we're calling.
Yeah, it's more like adventure hunting. But I learned a long time ago, always go on a run with your credit card and your phone.
Well, that was what was funny because we were pretty long into this run. I don't know how many miles.
Yeah.
Do we go this way or do you want to just keep looping here?
Well, we can loop here unless you want to go and get a slushie, but I'm not a huge fan of walking in the rain.
Okay, that's why I thought about sticking closer to the cars.
Yeah, we can go in the pavilion if you want.
That's fine.
Yeah, since you don't really need to get miles or anything, and you know I have the risk of melting, so we'll just play it safe.
That's the problem with being so sweet. You know, well, the thing is, then I saw you went and had a popsicle with John, and you know I thought it was something special between us to have popsicles on the run. And then I realized, do you do this with everybody?
No, and actually, our popsicle was like the first popsicle experience, and it was like twice as big as the popsicle that we get at the country fair. So it was a special moment, Bruce. Shared between just you and I.
It came at the perfect time, and what's funny is we were pretty far in the long run, and all I'm thinking is, let's just go down and get a popsicle, because we were in the park, and you knew they were at the...
Yeah.
I get the feeling you know exactly where to go for popsicles and stuff.
I do.
And we were there, and all I'm thinking is, I don't have any money or anything on me. How am I going to get a popsicle? It didn't even occur to me you're like willing to spend a whole $1 to buy me a popsicle.
I spare no expense. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, you know, that's just kind of how I do runs and stuff when I go out. I don't really take too much training seriously, so as long as it's fun, I can keep up with my endurance stuff.
Do you want to stop in the pavilion for a little bit?
Yeah, that's fine.
See if this lets up.
We can head towards the back one.
Okay. If you look over there, it looks like we're going to be okay in a little bit. We're off with because we had an odd start here.
Pizza. Definitely lots of cheese and pepperoni.
That sounds perfect to me.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah. I used to get, a while ago, Wedgwood has, do they call it? It's kind of like their everything pizza. And it has like all the greasy stuff on it. So you literally pick it up and it drips grease.
Oh.
I used to eat that one, but I scaled back a bit.
Now it's just pepperoni and
Now
cheese.
it's just pepperoni and cheese. Yeah, anything melty cheese is good with me.
Well, Wedgwood is, now they got a wedding soup pizza, and I'm like,
Oh,
I don't know. If
probably just little meatballs and spinach then maybe.
I'm thinking that might
I
be.
don't know.
That's
I never heard of
basic.
it.
I never did before either, but they just started advertising it a few weeks back.
I
I'm
don't know.
tempted, but I just don't
Oh.
know. That might be a little too odd. I've never been.
Yeah.
Everybody knows I would not be tempted by the pickle pizza, but they don't have that. Somebody else around here had it.
Well, you know what probably isn't too bad about pickle pizza? Some of the pickle stuff, a little over the top. But if you are doing like big endurance in the heat and you need salt, it would be really good. Do you even like pickles?
No, I eat pickles.
Well, if you don't even like pickles, then pickle anything would sound gross.
Yeah, it's just, they're saying to drink pickle juice for
Yeah, I've done that.
for cramps.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think I'd rather cramp up.
No, you would not. Have you ever had like severe cramps?
Yeah, I've had some pretty bad. After marathons,
Yeah.
I'll look at my calves, and you'll see them making waves and doing all sort of weird configurations and stuff.
And you'd still choose that over a pickle?
Oh, no, yeah.
No. I had one of the, I was volunteering at a race and someone had made pickle cupcakes. And I
Oh.
ate those. It wasn't bad, but I wouldn't choose to eat another one. But
Sounds like a way to ruin cupcakes.
I don't know. If it's a cupcake, I'll try at least once, I guess. It's a sweet, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, you were doing some, last year you were doing some ultras, weren't you? Because I know you've done.
Yeah, I don't think I did too many last year because my focus was more on training for the Ironman. So because I'm not a swimmer, I spent a lot of time focusing on not drowning.
Not drowning is a good thing.
Yeah, so it took a lot of time away from the ultra running for me, and that was my goal after this year was to get all the
That's
multi-sport stuff done so that I can get back to my ultra running next year. But now all my races are pretty much prepaid for next year. So my 2020 is now my 2021, so my ultra running will be 2022.
2020.
Yeah, I don't know how seriously I'll take it next year though, because I'm still kind of teetering.
What were you supposed to do? What was your big one this year, at least?
My goal this year was to do. I had a full Ironman scheduled in September, and it was like everything was like timing with me. So the only reason really I picked that particular Ironman was because it fell on my 5-year cancer anniversary.
Which one was it?
Chattanooga.
With
Yeah,
Aaron.
same one, Aaron. Yeah. So that's why I was doing that one. So all of my training kind of, I had everything planned out for that goal race. And I was doing a half Ironman, an Olympic distance triathlon. I had a couple full marathons. I think I had maybe one ultra race in there too. But yeah, next year.
Next year. Next year's already planned out for
Yeah,
you.
it's paid in full, so all I have to do is pay for lodging. So hopefully I remember everything that I had scheduled because it was planned out. I had it planned out pretty well. So the
Better write
timing.
this down and get it.
Yeah, the timing was pretty good with it. So everything that I would have, like I was doing my own training plans, which is what I did when I was doing my 100 milers. I just created my own training plan. So I had all the races fell right where I needed to with my training. the reason why I like to do races is because I don't have to worry about getting lost or trying to figure out where I'm going to go, and then people feed you while you're doing them. So
that's one nice thing about ultras and trail racing in general. The whole atmosphere is a little different.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I miss it a ton, but
it'll be back.
Yeah, so
let's go back. What got you started running?
So I started running back because I was turning 40, and I looked back at my life and I thought, I don't really have like anything cool that I've done with my life. So I was 39-ish, and I was like, I already had 2 divorces under my belt, and I had bad choices in dating, so that sucked. And then I was like, everybody has kids by this age, and I didn't have any kids, so I was like, I gotta try to find something fun to do. So I had a friend who talked about, he was just a recreational runner, and mind you, I had never ran, but I didn't run in high school. I didn't even run like up the street. And so I was like, you know what, maybe I'll run a marathon for my 40th birthday. So my friend was always talking about how cool it was. One time he was in San Francisco and he was able to run across the Golden Gate Bridge. So I was like, I'll see if I can do a race out there. So I found the San Francisco Marathon, and I decided that would be my goal race. And I hired a trainer because I had never ran before, so I didn't even know if I could run that far. So I hired a trainer, and I hired my trainer in July, and I trained for a year for the marathon, and I hired him in July. I ran the Columbus Half Marathon in October that year, and I thought, well, if I can do a half marathon, I should be able to do a full marathon, you know, by, that was going to be, the race was the end of July. So I did the Columbus Half Marathon in October, and then I did, I think, 1 or 2 other races around the same distance, and then I did the distance classic because someone told me if you can finish the distance classic, then you can run a marathon. So I thought this would be a good gauge. So I ran the distance classic. So I actually ended up running all half marathons until I ran my full marathon. I never did like a 5K or a 10K. And it's not like I ran fast, but I love the endurance aspect of it. So I ran the San Francisco Marathon, was my first race for my 40th birthday. And I thought, oh, that was fun. And I didn't think I'd ever run again. And then now it's like 10 years later. And if it sounds crazy, then I'll probably sign up for it.
That's a good attitude.
Yeah, I like kind of crazy goals. So that's kind of what I've always done. Then after that, I ran. I would do mostly half marathons. I'd probably do like a half marathon a month, I think was what I was averaging. And then I thought, well, if I did like 2 marathons a year, that was good. And then the one year I did Yahtzee 50K, thinking, oh, well, I know what my marathon time is. I'll just add like maybe an hour or so to it because it's, you know, a couple miles farther.
5 miles further. Yeah.
I couldn't have been any more wrong. I ended that race. I was such a bitch when I ended that race. I was so mad. I ended up going back and apologizing to people because I felt like I was so mean. I was in such a bad mood because I finished in like 8 hours and I thought I'd finish in 6. Because I never knew that there was such a time difference in trail than there was in the road. But I stumbled on trail running just kind of by, I don't know, by mistake, but I met these friends through other friends, and they mentioned this thing called Run Woodstock. And I'm like, Woodstock? That sounds kind of fun. So I was like, I'll go with you guys. So we took the one girl's camper out, and we're driving out there, and they're like, do you know this is a trail race? I was like, no, but isn't that more fun? So that's actually what got me in trail running. I would just meet different people, at different races, and then we would do different things together, and everything kind of linked up to something different, and it was all really cool stuff. So that's what kind of got me all started.
You've done, how many hundreds have you done? I know you've done
2. I did 200 milers, yeah.
Which ones?
I did Mohican was my first one, and then the following year I did Burning River.
Which ones would you say is easier, harder, or better?
So
any preference?
They're equally as difficult. It just depends. I prefer Mohican because I prefer running hills. A lot of people don't care much for Mohican because of the hills, and then it's a 3-loop course, 4 loops. I think it was 4 loops. But what's nice about the loops is what's coming up. So you can, in your mind, you can visualize where you're getting your drop bags, or where you'll see your crew, or what foods you're going to eat. So the whole basis of like distance running like that is just aid station to aid station. So I knew exactly where I wanted to run and where I wanted to walk. So I knew where the flats were, I knew where the climbing was. So that worked out pretty well for me. And then Burning River was completely different because I was going through some health issues that year, and I wasn't able to train consistently for the whole year. So I went like super undertrained in that race, like super undertrained. But I'm not a fan of, I wasn't a fan of road running or doing roads or towpath or any of that stuff, because I just always wanted to be in the woods. And it turned out that was actually pretty much what saved me in that race, because I can power walk or power hike pretty good. And I got to like mile 92, and I sat down. Now in the first 100 miler I did, they wouldn't even let me sit. Like John would not let me even sit down in the chair. So I would take a bathroom break just to sit, just so I could sit down. But I was like, oh, thank God, Burning River, they let me actually sit in the chair, but it was like timed sitting. Like you can sit for like literally 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and then you had to go. And I got to mile 92, and I was just like, I was exhausted because it was so hot. And I always get really bad blisters, but the pain is like one thing, but my body was just like tapped. And he was like, oh, hell no, you're not quitting. You're getting off of that chair and you're walking. So someone had told me it's all towpath, and I believed them. So I was like, oh, I can do towpath. But it was after some convincing to get out of the chair, because I really did not want to get out of the chair. But I did, and I knew my sister was going to be waiting for me. I think I had 3 miles to get to her. And then she had never ran with me in an ultra race before. So she was actually going to be, I called her my closer. So she was going to actually run the last 5 miles with me to the finish line. It was not flat all the way back. There was like, I don't know how many stairs were at the end, but you just kind of get a second wind. It's like, I just wanted to be done. And like mile 95 when I picked her up, I just ran like the rest of the way, just because I just didn't feel like being in the race anymore. So I'm like,
just get this done.
Yeah. But it's hard, because I think it's harder when you have a flat course, because Burning River is fairly flat. It's harder because you want to run fast. You have the illusion that you can run fast and finish in a good time, and that's what'll bite you in the ass, because you go out too hard for too long and then you can't sustain it. So it's all endurance and timing, and kind of holding back. I always try to do I do pretty detailed pace charts. So I look at the course and what's going to be on the course, and then estimate my pace for the course and try to stay with that. But yeah, those were my two.
I don't know. Yeah, I've seen some video. You kind of watch something on YouTube about Burning River, and you don't. All you see is them going into the aid stations, and I'm like, you can't tell what the course is really like from that.
Yeah. It's really, Burning River was really nice, and if anyone's doing like 100 for the first time, it's really cool because it's a local race for the most part for us. It takes like maybe an hour and a half to get to different sections of it, but they have all kinds of training runs, and maybe a month or so before the race, they'll actually do the race in sections. So they have like a Burning River relay. So they'll do each segment. So the relay team can go and do their segments. So you get familiarized with the course. So, and they'll give you like little tips too.
I think they may have changed it the last couple of years.
I think they did, because when I did it, it was still point to point. And last year they made it, because of them shutting down the parks, certain parts of the parks.
Yeah.
They had to do out and back. So yeah, it did change since I've done it.
Yeah, as far as I know, even with the pandemic, they're still running that this year.
They're running it in the next week or so, actually. It's sometime this month.
Actually, it might be this weekend No, wait, it's in August. I think the 22nd.
Yeah, I know it's sometime this month. I don't remember when.
This is my wife's fault for putting these ideas in my head.
Yeah.
Because I just was watching YouTube videos and watched about these two guys doing this 100-miler and stuff on it. And she looked at me and goes, "Could you do one of those?" And I'm like, yes. Of course, I've never actually done anything over. I've done a 50K once.
You can. Like, anybody can do it.
I think it'd be a lot more just fast hiking than
you can,
really hard
and that's
running.
the thing too, because people would come up to me thinking, like, "Oh, I can't believe you did this," but it's like, and that was what was tough about the second one that I did was I don't care much for social media, so I have like one social media account. Then you start reading stuff that was that had to do with the race, and people would say like, "Oh, you're not really running 100-mile race, you're walking 100 miles." And then they kind of get in your head, "Oh, well, you're just not as good as the other people who can finish sub 24 hours or something." But I don't know. I saved myself by walking.
A lot of them aren't runners or have never done long distance.
Yeah, I did. I decided when I did Burning River that I was going to run the first 50 miles and bank time for the second half, and that's what I did, and I power hiked almost the entire second half. But you can do it. I started out doing the marathon, and then I did a 50K after that, because I'm like, 5 more miles,
Yeah.
What's 5 more miles when you're already running 26? So I did the 50K, and then after I did the 50K, I did an endurance hike run. I think it was like 42 miles, 43 miles, the Rachel Carson Trail out in PA.
I've heard of it, but
it's pretty cool. It's pretty crazy because there's like straight up and downs. So I did that to prepare for my 50-miler, and then I did the 50-miler, and then I went right from 50 miles to the 100-miler, because I was like, I might just try the 100K, because it seemed like that was the sequence you should go. But that's when I met John, and he's like, "Well, you already did 50 miles. You might as well just sign up for the 100-miler." So I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's true. I should just do that."
Oh, makes sense.
So that's how I ended up doing my first 100-mile.
If you can do 5K, you can do a 10K. If you can do 10K, you can do a half. You can do a half, you can do a marathon.
Yeah, it's endurance running is all mental. It's a lot, of course, physical endurance, but your mind can take you out of a race way before your body will.
I've had that happen.
Yeah, it's easy to do. You start out having a bad day or something, and before you know it, you're done. But if you stay positive the whole time, then it's not easy, but it helps you out. It helps you a lot better to get through to the finish.
That's what I mean. Over a course, that would be, I think, one of the tough parts there. Over a course of a whole, 24 or 30 hours, however long it takes you to do that 100 mile. I think that would be part of the hardest, just staying mentally in it and staying positive. And you're a pretty positive person from my point of view. But
I try. I think what I do that helps me is I break them down. So I don't look at it as the mileage as a whole. So I have my pace charts, and on the pace chart, I know how many miles it's going to take me to get to the next aid station. A lot of times you're only looking at 5 or 7 miles. So you figure 5 or 7 miles, I get to see people. And then usually after you get to, you get past the 50 mile mark usually is when you can pick up pacers. So I usually had 2 pacers, and they're usually people that you know.
yeah.
So that makes it kind of cool. And then you have your crew. So you know when you're going to see your crew. So you get to see people. Even though you're out there a long time, you constantly see people, and they're like the coolest people. People that work at the aid stations and stuff. And it's something weird happens because you're out there all night long, and it's like when the sun comes back up, it's like you feel like it's a brand new day. And for whatever reason in my mind, I just wash out that I have already been out there for 24 hours. And it's like it's a brand new, like something just like washes over me, and I feel like I have a whole new day to start running again.
Did you do very many night runs, or did you run it all night?
No, the funny thing was before I even knew, I didn't even really know about 100-mile races. So my friends, when we went out to Woodstock, that's when I first learned about 100-mile races. And I think it was maybe a year or 2 after that race, and I had one of my friends from high school message me on Facebook, and he was like, hey, one of my friends dropped out of pacing me for my 100-mile race. Can you pace me? And I was like, Bo, do you know who you're talking to? I'm like, this is Barb. He runs like super fast. And I don't know, Bo's the one that has like the super long running streak. He's done, I think, like 100-mile races. And I was like, he's like, can you pace me for Burning River? And I was like, it's me. Like, do you know it's me? Because I didn't even do my first 50K yet. And he's like, well, I know you've been doing, longer runs, and I'll need you for like 11 miles. I'm like, 11 miles? I could do 11 miles. So I was like, just tell me what you need. So he's like, I'm going to need you through the night. And I'm like, shit, I can't see at night. I've never run at night, but I'm not telling him no.
Oh, by the way, when you're 5 miles in.
So that's how I ended up doing my first night run, was when I paced Bo for his Burning River. And then the Burning River group on Facebook had a night run, and I did that. So I really only ran at night twice. But you're not really running at night, you're walking. That's why I try to bank time during the day, so that you have those walking miles at night.
Yeah, you would have. I think I'd have to. Just
yeah, so yeah, no.
I can.
That was it.
And you also mentioned you're on your 5-year anniversary from.
Oh yeah, so I don't even have. I'll have to figure out. I'll need like ice cream or something. I'll have to get like a special ice cream cake or something. Yeah, so September's my, hopefully, knock on wood, my 5-year anniversary for being cancer-free for breast cancer. So yeah, I was going to celebrate doing my first full Ironman, but that'll be next year.
Next year, 6-year anniversary. That's
my 6 year. Well, it'll be my 6-year anniversary and my 50th birthday. So then I guess I'll just use it as my 50th birthday. Yeah.
See, I'm hitting 55. And I'm trying to think of something big to.
Yeah.
Double nickels is,
Yeah, it's a good milestone. I for my birthday next year, my plan was to do rim to rim to rim. So I still plan on doing that for my birthday. So
On top of a
yeah,
iron.
yeah.
Oh wait, when's your? I don't know when your birthday is.
My birthday's in June, but I wouldn't do it until fall.
So you're gonna do a full Ironman,
Yeah.
and then go do rim to rim to rim.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yep. I see the craziness coming.
I should be conditioned by then, so I should be okay. When I did my first 100. The following weekend, my sister and I went up to Maine and we did a marathon. So I did a marathon after my first 100, and then after my that was I was in pretty good shape that year. I did a marathon, and then like in what would have been 2 months from then, 2.5 months, I got into Oil Creek and I did 100K. But it's like once you're conditioned, you can do other stuff. You just have to know when to rest your body. But once you're in shape, you can do anything.
Didn't you just keep running the whole time when you had cancer?
Yeah, so I ended up having a lumpectomy and radiation. So I had my surgery first, and I told my doctor that running was really important to me, and luckily I had a really cool doctor. So after my surgery, he told me no running for a week. So I was like, okay, but can I hike? And he said, yeah. So I doctored up my incisions, and I made my MacGyver sling out of one of those sling backpacks.
Oh, what is it?
Yeah, it has it's like at an angle instead of like the traditional backpack where you have the 2 arm slots. So I made this makeshift sling to put my arm in, and I found my one friend was always like, I want to go to the park with you sometime, but everybody's always like, but you're always running, or you run too fast or whatever. So I always loved taking people to the park. So I was like, hey, we'll get my dog. You can walk, back when I had Baxter, I was like, you can walk Baxter and we'll go walk in the park. I'll meet you down there. So she's like, okay. So I went hiking 3 days maybe after my surgery. And then anybody that was willing to go hiking with me, I went hiking with them. And then a week later, I did Yahtzee. I think it was about a week later, maybe 2 weeks later, I did Yahtzee. When I got the green light that I was allowed to run, I did that. And then the following weekend was the Akron Marathon. So I usually had something like every weekend. Like I was trying to go to a race almost every weekend. And then I scheduled all of my treatments were actually like scheduled around when I had races too.
Wait. Don't worry about the treatment. We gotta race that weekend.
It all worked out. So yeah, I never stopped running all through my treatment, and then
that's amazing.
My last week, I did 4 weeks of treatment, and my last week of treatment, I did the Bill's Badass 50K, and I actually hit. I did a sub 8 50K, so it was actually my fastest 50K was my week after 4 weeks of radiation. Yeah, so.
That's impressive. That's amazing that you were able to just get out and do these long distances after.
Yeah, I think I had it easier than a lot of people. I didn't have a lot of side effects or anything. I think it benefited me that I had the outlet of running, and I had, the outlet of going to the woods and doing something that I was doing consistently almost every day. You
were actually in pretty good shape and probably had pretty good endurance and immunity built up.
Yeah, I ended up doing before I had my surgery, I think it was like 2 weeks before I had to go in for my biopsy, because I actually scheduled that after one of my races too, because I'm like, if I have something, I have it. 2 weeks isn't going to make a difference in my life, So I did my first 50 miler, and then I was diagnosed, And then I was still able to do, I think I was still able to do a race after my biopsy, and then after my surgery, I actually didn't miss any races. Everything that I was registered for, I was able to run. So it worked out pretty good. But yeah. That's that. But yeah, like I said, I was just lucky because I didn't have a lot of side effects of anything. I still worked through everything, and yeah, I actually did worse after spraining my ankle than going through my cancer treatments.
Well, the ankle's actually involved in the running motion and all that, but
so
that.
Yep. So that's that. But yeah, that year I was lucky. I was in really good shape that year, so that helped me. And there was always something good in the park, you know, because I had always done all my runs. I always did solo. I very rarely ever ran with anybody in the park. It was usually me and my dog, and it was just like, that was your sense of peace, you know, just go out in the park and just run. But
yeah, you've always been more of a solo runner. I get you out once in a while.
Yeah, it's tough, you know, because it's like, it's not that I necessarily don't like people.
Hey, we shared that popsicle, so.
Yeah, for all you listening viewers, we each had our own popsicle.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it to sound. We shared some popsicle.
Yeah, but yeah, I just have trouble mentally in groups because especially now that I'm not as in shape as I used to be, I always feel like I'm holding people back or I'm not as good. Even though I know people don't look at me that way, it's just how I feel because I just know I'm not at the fitness level that I used to be.
I know exactly what you mean because I know years ago, I mean, I was like steady at this pace, and now I'm not there anymore. And I used to know I could go to a 5K, 10K, and I know who I was, and now I'm just not there. Right?
Yeah.
Not doing as many races. Well, obviously nobody's doing as many races right now, but.
Yeah, and it's tough too, you know, because it's like you get used to that environment with seeing people at races, and you don't necessarily, like, I never really necessarily ran with people at races because I always, you know, especially if it was a road race, I always like relied on my music because I always kind of got lost in my music. Or like even like trail running, like I wasn't like a super fast trail runner, and I always liked being in the back. I just liked being by myself. And now that I'm by myself all day long, every day, it's like, oh my God, I want to go back to racing so bad.
I do miss it, and I mean, I've been running with other people and stuff, and you know, which is great, but there's something about going to a race and just once in a while, and you know I'm still going to be back there where I'm at, but
but that's what you did, right? So that's what you do, what you're used to, and
a lot of times the only time I really push myself hard is at a race.
Yeah, that's why having this virtual race was kind of cool, was because it, you know, even though you're really not with anybody, you're still pushing yourself to do something every day. Because I don't know that I gave myself really any rest days once I figured out what my goal day was going to be. And I probably could have finished a little bit sooner, but I wanted to make sure I finished like on that actual day. And now that I finished, I'm like, oh God, is this thing ever going to be over?
No. If you get across Tennessee, then you got to go back.
Yeah.
or at least 1,000 miles.
It only seemed natural.
I think even from the start, I wanted to get my money's worth out of it, so I wanted to take a toll. Because I figured I didn't want to start off too strong because I didn't want to get hurt. I think the further I got, the more walking I've done.
Yeah.
Because at first month or so, I was probably just all running, and I said this is going to be a good chance for me to, because I wanted to move my weekly mileage up. You know, I was doing this many miles. Now I want to get up where I'm doing this many regularly. And I said this will be a great way to do it. And May wasn't too bad. I think I was real close to being on pace in May, but June I kind of messed up, and I was working a lot of overtime and stuff, and it messed me up and got me behind.
Yeah.
I will suck it up, find a way to get done. And
Yeah, I told you if you want to go out, I can't really run, but I can power hike pretty far. So if you want to get decent miles, then let me know.
Yeah, on one of these Saturdays or Sunday, we'll get you out there and we'll get a good long.
Yeah. I don't know. I should probably try to run again, but I keep forgetting.
Huh?
I keep forgetting I'm being recorded. The breathing part of it is just like, I went to, I'm on like a new inhaler regimen thing, and
It's not working?
not yet. No, I think I'm just waiting for the cooler weather, maybe, hopefully. So we'll see.
Keep going, because, you know, in this heat, just getting out walking, you know,
Yeah.
moving and stuff's going to help you. Even if you could just, you know, maybe just do a little bit of running, a couple minutes in your walks.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of walking right now. But
Yeah, that's why I need to get back to doing that too, so my body gets used to running again, because I walked almost that whole entire thing. It's a lot of walking.
he's supposedly having another one next year where you have all year to get across America.
Yeah, I saw that, and that's kind of tempting. But I'm hoping that next year everything will be back to
normal,
where we can actually go to races again. I'm hoping. If not,
Youngstown's still talking about going off. I'm waiting to see.
will we do it?
Huh?
Will you do it if they have it?
I'm doing the half.
Are you?
I'm one of their ambassadors.
Oh.
And I'm already in for the half. So I'm hoping they still have it. And thing is, if they're the ones putting on those races out at Canfield Fairgrounds, where they got another one coming up.
That's
So
right.
I think they're looking at what they're doing there, and they're probably going to take that and use it in Youngstown.
Oh, right.
So
And they do that staggered start, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's some different options in the staggered starts. And one time I talked to them, they said something about maybe have the 5K on Saturday and the half on Sunday, and maybe not have a marathon.
Oh, really?
And just do something like that. Now, this is still talk, so I don't know if they've come to a whole decision yet. I haven't seen any announcement.
It would be interesting, but
That way you don't have as many people there at one time. If they staggered the start a little bit.
that's my only race that I'm registered this year that hasn't deferred or canceled. Everything else has. Even Columbus did it a long time ago.
I got
And they're end of October.
got
End of October.
5K, the Centennial 5K in Canton. It's with the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah.
Me, Greg, and Don all signed up for it because we got suckered in by the shirt. And
Well, you can never have too many shirts.
we decided we're going to try to do it. They gave you a virtual option or a live option, but we went, and they're still going live. And I really got suckered in with. I shouldn't say it that way, but we did sign up. Me and Greg are doing the Akron marathon.
This year?
Yes. No, the virtual.
Oh, virtual.
I'm sorry. I should have said that. Virtual Akron marathon. And if they hadn't put those Gooder sunglasses in the box that they're sending you, I wouldn't know.
Bruce, the Gooder glasses are only $25.
These ones, well, I got a shirt and socks with it.
I know.
I've already heard they were $100 sunglasses, but no, they're not.
I used to do the same things.
And a medal. I get a medal too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this last year aged me, because I'm like, oh, it's raining, I'm not going out in the rain. Oh, not a tech shirt. Oh no, I can't do that.
Okay, we gotta get over this fair weather running stuff.
Yeah, I gotta toughen up my skin again.
I don't think anybody really enjoys it, but
I used to love it, especially like in the snow when it's like stupid cold and your eyelashes freeze, you know, when you get those big icicles on your eyelashes. Yeah, that used to be fun.
But we were stuck in the rain a few days ago. Oh, well, over the weekend, I think and it wasn't too bad this time. I remember a couple months back, me and Greg we were out running and we're in the rain and it was just miserable. And I was like, we cut that one short. And it was like, this isn't worth it. Then the other day, it's like, well, except for one part when it really started coming down real hard, it was like, this didn't feel so bad because it's been so hot and everything. Just to have a little cooler thing.
Yeah. So do you guys have, do you have like a time span? Like, do they give you like a date range to do your race?
For Akron, the virtual, you got to do it anywhere from September 26th, when they were supposed to have it, till the end of October. You got to do it somewhere in there.
Oh, well that's good, because then you can just pick a nice day. When it's not like, because sometimes it's even the end of September, it can be super hot out still.
Yeah, I'm looking into different options.
Well, that's cool.
I'm thinking about, I thought about trying to do it on the day it was supposed to be, which is September 26th, which originally I wasn't going to even consider doing Akron because Maria's son was supposed to get married and they delayed their wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Because of all the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
And so I didn't think about it then, but then when they went virtual and I saw what was in their blue box, I went for it.
Hey, that's all right. I did it one time.
You never signed up for a shirt before.
I did Akron a few years ago because they were still, I think it was the last year they had the zip-up jackets. They used to have zip-up jackets and you got socks.
Well, the last time I did Akron, you got a free pair of shoes.
Yeah, I missed that day.
So
I didn't get the free shoes.
I had them for a long, I think I still got them.
Yeah.
They were like, for a while, they were my only green pair of shoes, so, and they're like a lime green, but I would put them on St. Patrick's Day every year. I mean, they were 8, 9, 10 years old, and I was still going out for one run a year. I said, it won't matter.
I haven't worn them again, but I saved my first marathon shoes. It was kind of cool because I got I got the shoes that I wore for my first marathon. My friends and I used to do the 5-borough bike ride out in New York City, and I bought them at the ASICS store in New York City, which I think they were like the New York City Marathon shoes. But I was like, that's really cool because I bought the shoes in New York City. I ran with them in San Francisco. I'm like, how do I throw those out? They don't stink.
No.
Let me preface that. But yeah, I still have those. It's kind of like when people save their baby shoes and they copper them or whatever they do with those way back when.
There you go. Do something like that.
Yeah, I should do that.
Get the bib number and put it in a box, or one of those glass.
I still have, when I did like my first race distances.
We'll make you one of those shadow boxes for it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I still have the bib on my refrigerator.
From your first marathon? Yeah. Wow.
I showed you how much I cleaned my house. 10 years ago.
It's not that she means that, but
I do. I still have.
How many bibs are on your refrigerator?
I think I have 4 or 5 bibs on my refrigerator. On my bib for the San Francisco, because it was what I was doing for my 40th birthday. It said happy birthday to me. And then people would send me like good luck cards and stuff, so I have some of those on my refrigerator still. I don't know what I would do. I would feel like something was missing now that I've had them up there so long if I took them down.
Yeah, you can't take them down now.
No, yeah, it has all my new mile magnets on there. Yeah, it's a racing refrigerator.
Lord, I hope you don't have to get a new refrigerator.
I don't think so.
Oh, good.
Yeah, there's not really any space on it, so. I don't know. I'll have to start pasting things to the wall.
You're gonna have to buy a bigger refrigerator.
I can't because it won't fit in my house. My house is so small. There's like one little cutout space where you can slide the refrigerator into, and there's no leeway there. It's like that's all you can do.
Buy a second one, put it in the garage.
I do have one in the garage actually.
All right, we're good then.
Yeah, we're covered.
Oh man. Well, we're over our. We're gonna get going.
All right, that was fun.
And I will thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this actually was pretty cool. Like, I was hesitant to do it because I don't really like talking about myself, but it actually did a little good for me mentally talking about my old races again, because I really, it took a toll on me, you know, not doing what you're used to, you know, but it was kind of fun reminiscing. Thanks,
Great.
Bruce.
You're welcome. We'll have you back sometime.
Yeah.
One of our group podcasts. Maybe you could get in on that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll keep it a maybe.
We'll keep it on maybe.
You know me and commitment.
Yeah, I did realize if I got you to show up, it was going to be the same day. I wasn't even going to take the chance. I wasn't even going to say, "You want to do this tomorrow?" And no, it's pouring down rain, and I'm like, "Nope, I'm still going." I ain't giving her a chance to back out.
Because you know I would have. I sent you that text. I'm like, Bruce, it's raining. You're like, I'm on my way. I'm like, shit.
I was already in the car. I wasn't lying, and I'm coming here, and it's torrential downpours coming up 680 and getting on 711, and it's just torrential downpours. I'm like, oh nope, I'm still. Then I stopped somewhere and I checked the radar real quick. I was like, we got a gap in there. We'll be fine. We were sort of wrong about that gap, though.
Yeah.
It's not raining now. Wow. Well, I gotta get going home anyways.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
I didn't know it was gonna rain.